Hey, what it do, y'all? I'm your host, Will. Welcome to Fandom Frequency. Thank you for checking out this video today and taking part of your day or your time to actually check this out. We are back with our latest news show that we're going to be doing on the channel every single week. It's our new weekly show called What's the Word? And that is where we break down multiple topics in the world of pop culture, if you will, movies, TV, anime, and music as well every now and again when it's big enough, because we're going to have a separate announcement to cover more of the music stuff when it comes to like news topics and things like that. We will do reactions and retrospective like album reviews and things like that. And we're going to do like tier rankings and different things like that on the channel to talk about different music topics in the world of rock, hip hop, mostly those genres. You know what I'm saying? I'd sometimes venture out and check out other things. I'm not a big country guy, but I do like jazz and some blues and try to keep up with some of the Latin artists coming out today. So we're going to be covering other genres as well, but mostly in the world of hip hop, rock, and electronic music is mostly what we're going to focus on. And some of that music stuff will be here on What's the Word as well and have its own separate videos. And we have a whole nother announcement about that. But with no further ado, let's get into the topics today for this show of What's the Word. And we got a pretty packed show, guys. There was like 2 to 3 other topics I could have brought up, but I didn't want to overstuff the show and have a limited time to record today before I go to work and all that kind of jazz. Y'all know what it is. So we got at least good 6 or 7 topics we're going to be getting into today and taking a pretty nice dive into. So with no further ado, why don't we go ahead and get into the first topic here. Let me make sure to check my rundown, make sure I got everything in order here. Perfect. So we're going to be talking about a highly anticipated sequel, one of my most anticipated sequels in the world of DC, but more into the Elseworlds banner, not the DCU that James Gunn's building over there with Peter Safran over there at Warner Brothers. But we're going to be getting into the Batman 2. This was supposed to come out, I think, late this year, like October or something like that. But this thing got pushed all the way back into 2026 because they're not going to start filming this thing until 2025. But we did get some actual kind of no like big, huge confirmations, but we did get a little bit of some info from Matt Reeves himself on the Batman 2. Let me just pull up the quotes here and everything like that, because they did get to interview him about it. And I think he's teasing something really that could be really huge for the world of the Batman. So let me make sure I got my notes pulled up here. But the big kind of rumor mill going on right now is that the Quarter Owls might actually be premiering in the sequel, according to comicbookmovie.com. Let me see here. Because they were also talking about a rumor about a character called Gentleman Ghost, because they'd never want to go fully into the fantastical, as we all know, because this is more of a gritty crime drama in the style of like David Fincher's Seven, Zodiac from David Fincher as well. You could even say Silence of the Lambs. I forget the name of that director, but y'all know that movie. It's freaking horror classic. Not one of my favorites or anything like that, but it's a great film nonetheless. Yeah, the Batman crime universe. Never been a big fan of them dubbing it with that name. All right, here we go. Here's the quotes I wanted. Batman is constantly battling these forces, but those forces can't be entirely exercised. So the next movie delves deeper into that. What was so important to me was to find a way to take these pop icons, these mythical characters that everybody knows, and translate it so that Gotham feels like a place in our world, Reeves said. We might push to the edge of the fantastical, but we would never go into full fantastical. It's meant to feel quite grounded. As Reeves goes on to say here also, it doesn't mean that you won't see characters that people love. That's exactly what we want to do. Gentleman Ghost is probably pushed a bit too far for us to be able to find a way to do. But there is a fun way to think about how we would take characters that might push over into a bit of the fantastical and find a way to make sense of that. So those are the things that he's delving into. He also had a small quote that I can't find here that he was also talking about corruption and things like that. So that to me is a pretty clear indication that we're going to be getting the actual villains, the Court of Owls. And those that aren't exactly familiar with that, that was a Scott Snyder run for the Batman comics back in the New 52 era in the early to mid 2010s, and is one of the best storylines written in Batman comics of all time. Y'all already know, and if you don't know because you're joining us for the first time finding this news show or getting into one of these topics that you want to hear discussed, I'm a huge Batman fan. I always have preferred Marvel over DC in just a general sense. DC has a lot of great films and tons of great comics too, so don't get me wrong, but Batman's my favorite part of the DC universe and of DC as an entity, right? So I'm a huge Batman fan. It's like Batman, Spider-Man, those are my two superheroes right there. And then you got Wolverine coming in third. Sorry, Wolverine. But Batman was always one of my first loves. The animated series back in the 90s was what got me into Batman and all those live action movies from Michael Keaton, Tim Burton, 89 into Batman and Robin with the great George Clooney in 97. So that was the whole era I grew up on. Never was a fan of the Adam West stuff as much. You know what I'm saying? I'm post 80, so I want my Batman to be dark. And then, you got the whole Dark Knight trilogy that I was there to see all that stuff when it came out, when it all dropped, went to see a whole triple feature when Dark Knight Rises came out in 2012. So I'm a long time and lifetime Batman fan. It's one of my favorite characters in freaking fiction. So obviously I was excited to go into the Robert Pattinson, Matt Reeves movie, specifically because of Matt Reeves, who's one of my favorite working directors right now. He's on a hell of a run and almost has no bad films in his resume, if any at all. So to me, he's one of the finest filmmakers right now. And The Batman back in 2022 was one of, if not my all-time favorite film that year. I can't even quite remember the ranking, but it was one of my top 3 movies that year. I love The Batman. Cannot wait for this sequel. And the Quarter Owls are this group that exists in Gotham, right? And they exist since like the beginning of Gotham, and they go back, century, like a century or so, or centuries. And they are have their hands in all these corrupt ways into all the institutions that have formed Gotham into the city that it is today. So from the roots and from the beginning, they've been a part of this the entire time. And Batman never knew about it for the entire existence of his career. And in New 52, he hadn't been around as long as obviously Detective Comics and things like that. Because up until that point, Batman had already been around for about 60 to 70 years. Now Batman's been around for 80 some, almost 90 years. So at this time, Batman was never aware of it. And I think that's another way to feed into all these themes that Matt Reeves was exploring so excellently well, with the corruption, with paying for your father's sins and feeling that guilt and feeling like, you got you got that survivor's guilt and kind of contributed into something negative in the city, and the whole cover up with his mom being from the Arkham family, having mental health issues and being locked up in the Arkham Asylum, and how all that goes back there. And that's where people that he are sending are going to now. So the whole way that everything goes full circle and really ties into Bruce Wayne as a character, really to the core of who he is and where he comes from. The Court of Owls, to me, would be just another great extension of that, and would get us away from Joker and get us away from things that we've already seen, because we know Joker exists in the universe because Barry Keoghan, or Barry Kogan, he's playing, and we've seen that in one of the last scenes of the Batman when he's talking to Paul Dano's Riddler. And don't get me wrong, I love the Joker. He's obviously one of the GOAT Batman villains, if not the GOAT himself. So don't get me twisted there. I would just like to see some villains that weren't done well in the past, or new villains like the Court of Owls, Hush, Red Hood, different things like that. And I'm not saying they could do Red Hood exactly with the comic verbatim storyline, so that might have to be a DCU type of thing where Robins exist and have existed, because I don't think we're getting a Robin in this universe per se. But hey, who the hell knows? I don't know nothing. I don't work in Hollywood. I haven't read the script. So anything's possible, but I highly doubt it with this specific tone. I would expect James Gunn to do that if we're going to, because they have announced that Brave New World, or the World's Finest, or whatever the hell it's called. Batman Brave and the Bold, sorry. Where Damian Wayne's supposed to be Robin. So I think there might be either a form of precedent for there being Robins before, depending on the age of this Bruce Wayne they're going to do, but who the hell knows? But this is about Matt Reeves' Batman. So I would love to see the Court of Owls. They have these assassins called Talons that go after Dick Grayson when he's Nightwing and things like that, going after Bruce Wayne, and they damn near beat him and really leave him in such a fucked up state where he's shook to his core, you know what I'm saying? Like mentally and physically. So getting to see the Batman as he kind of steps into the role with Pattinson's version of Bruce Wayne and maybe starts to embrace that side of himself, really starts to fall into a crisis of identity and not even sure who Bruce Wayne really is or should be, and what the hell his family's even about, and if he even wants to feed into that real side of himself and where he comes from, or just fully delve into the Batman and just be the vigilante again like he was in the first film. Because by the end of that, he had a whole narration where he was like, I gotta be a symbol of hope, a symbol of what we can do to be better, and all this other shit, right? So he's looking more optimistic, looking more hopeful. But I think this is really going to shake him to his core, like in The Dark Knight, and really break him down. And I think leave him in a very interesting place going into the third film, because we're in no man's land right now with Gotham being flooded and that getting explored in the Penguin as he's about to take over the streets and try to take it from the Falcones over there on HBO Max here shortly in a few weeks, which we are going to be doing weekly reviews for, and I can't wait. So the whole Matt Reeves Batman crime universe seems really awesome. I'm kind of sad they canceled the Arkham thing, but there's a lot of cool things going on for Batman 2. Y'all let me know what you think about that down in the comments below. I would love to hear your opinion on that. And don't get me started, man. I can go on Batman all day. But we got some other topics to get into. They're finally doing a live action Masters in the Universe. It's been struggling to get off the ground as of late, but just earlier this year, they finally announced the casting for He-Man himself. I can't remember the name of the actor, forgive me, but we have two other actresses to get into today, and one also concerning another franchise at the same time is Camila Mendes. So Camila Mendes, here she is here. She was in a really fun Netflix movie she did with Maya Hawke over there from Stranger Things, Uma Thurman and Ethan Hawke's daughter. But I can't remember the name of that movie that Camila Mendes did. I might look it up in a minute. But anyway, she got cast to be Tila in the Masters of the Universe film, but she also was cast to be the lead of the I Know What You Did Last Summer reboot that they're doing that's going to be continuing on with the continuity of at least the first two films that we had confirmed from the filmmakers as well. But yeah, she was supposed to be playing the final girl or some kind of lead role in that, but she won't be doing that anymore because she's going to be busy playing Tila in Masters of the Universe. It's going to be there's a scheduling conflict apparently. So who knows if this script is better for Masters of the Universe, if she thinks it's just a better career move. Who knows what the reasoning behind it really is, but I do find that interesting. I do like her as an actress, and it's an interesting thing when you look at it visually with her being Tila, but I mean, I'm not going to judge it too harshly. I'm not a huge Masters of the Universe fan. I'm familiar with it. I liked He-Man growing up. I got the sword. I have the power, all that shit as a kid. So, I'm a casual fan of it, but it's not something that I necessarily live and die and breathe like a Dragon Ball Z, like a Scream, like a Marvel. You know what I'm saying? So, not necessarily something I'm super passionate about. Same thing with I Know What You Did Last Summer. I like the first film. Second film's a guilty pleasure fun kind of thing, but I'm not a big fan of that franchise. So, this reboot doesn't excite me. But I thought it was an interesting topic because we also have more casting news going on as well with Alison Brie cast as Evil Lynn, who's one of the big antagonistic type characters in that universe. Usually works along with Skeletor and things of that nature. Alison Brie from Glow, Scream 4, different things like that. She was also in that movie, The Rental, with what's his name? Um, Dave Franco, who's also I think her husband or boyfriend at the moment, her partner or whatever. And he directed that film. It's a really cool horror thriller called The Rental. I recommend y'all go check that out. Starring also co-starring Alison Brie. But she's going to be playing Evil Lynn in this universe for Masters of the Universe. And I do think that's a little bit of odd casting, if I'm being honest. She's a very great actress. I think she has really great resume. She can play a very wide range of roles between Scream 4 and Glow right there. That's two polar opposite characters. And then her character in The Rental is completely different from those characters. So I think that Alison Brie is got a lot of talent, has a lot of range, but I do think I do picture a little bit of a woman with a bigger stature than what Alison Brie is at, because I'm not exactly sure of her height, but I know she can't weigh more than like 120, 130 pounds, right? You know what I mean? So let's see. Alison Brie height. Let's see. She's 5'4". And for context, even though I'm sitting down, I'm 5'5". I'm like 5'6", I think. 5'5.5", 5'6". So that's even shorter than me. And I'm not a big dude by any stretch of the imagination. Anyone that knows me personally that might be watching this, you're very, very well aware of that. It's very far from tall. So I pictured more of a 5'8" to like 6-foot woman playing Evil Lynn. If I'm just being honest, just knowing the character and knowing that kind of brute strength and kind of prowess that she has. But who the hell knows? And like I said, I'm not going to prejudge casting too much. It's not like it's Danny DeVito playing Evil Lynn or something like that, you know? So I'm not going to get too upset about it. It's not necessarily one of my favorite franchises, but I figured since these are some pretty good caliber actresses, it was a fun topic to get into. Something a little different because we don't talk about Masters of the Universe too much. I did review part one of the Kevin Smith version, just didn't get a chance to get back to it, but I do want to do that because obviously Kevin Smith's one of my favorite filmmakers. For those that don't know, we did a whole View Askew review series, so check that out on the channel if you want to see that leading up to Clerks 3 from a couple years ago. But yeah, we love Kevin Smith around here. So yeah, so I thought that was some pretty interesting news there for Masters of the Universe. But now we're going to be jumping into the world of horror. That's right, y'all. You know I love my horror goodness. Alien Earth. Noah Hawley, the creator of FX's Legion and Fargo, I believe, or one of the co-creators of that. He is going to be tackling the world of Alien with Alien Earth coming out next year on FX and Hulu. And they recently released a synopsis for this thing, where it's going to be set 30 years before the original Alien and a crew is find some kind of crazy discovery. I think it's going to be xenomorphs or some type of a xenomorph creature on a crashed space vessel. Kind of typical Alien stuff there. And they did announce 3 actors that are going to be in the cast. My boy, Scream 2, baby. Bet you didn't see it coming, did you? Timothy Oliphant going to be up in there. Sydney Chandler and Alex Lothar. I'm not familiar with those other 2 actors, if I'm being honest, but Timothy Oliphant is a phenomenal actor. We just seen him in the world of Star Wars recently with the Marshall character and all that stuff. Great actor, been around for years, so I don't doubt him. And getting to see him in the world of Alien sounds really cool. And I love the way that this is a prequel to everything we've seen in Alien. And hopefully, with it being set on Earth or near or around Earth, I think is a really interesting idea. I don't know all the lore of Alien. I'm not like a huge nerd of it like that, but I love the first 2 original films. And I loved Alien Romulus from this year. A little bit more spotty on the Prometheus stuff. And I haven't seen Alien 3 or Resurrection. So I'm definitely not coming in with the most knowledge on this, but I'm aware that the original Ripley, spoiler alert for anyone out there that doesn't want to know, spoiler alert, I'm warning you now, spoiler alert. The original Ripley, I think, is either dead or off somewhere. But I think she died in the end of Alien 3. They made a clone hybrid xenomorph thing in Alien Resurrection from my passing knowledge of it. So the original Ripley is not around in the current or time or whatever the future time of the current time is, right? But Prometheus and Alien Romulus and all these other movies since Alien Resurrection are all taking place in between Alien or Aliens or before that. So this taking place before the original Alien is obviously, and potentially, if it's going to be canon, could lead into things with Fede Alvarez's film and Alien. So I think that's actually really cool getting to see these different tie-ins and possibilities, but getting to be around Earth with xenomorphs in a way that makes more sense in the timeline of this thing in like 2000 something, 2100 and something. That to me sounds hella interesting. And I really can't wait to see what the tone's going to be. I did see a little bit of Legion, and it was a very dark and like twisted show. So getting to see someone with Noah Hawley's sensibilities come into the world of Alien, I think is a really good fit. And as long as he doesn't get too weird and too artsy fartsy for his own good, I think this could be a really, really cool show. And I'm very much looking forward to it. And we're definitely going to be checking it out and doing a review for that next year on this channel. Because Alien Romulus kind of reinvigorated my interest in the Alien franchise. And I think I'm going to go ahead and finish and watch Alien 3 and Resurrections just so I'm all caught up. Because, man, Alien Romulus finally got it right, in my opinion, and got us back into the world. So hopefully Alien Earth can do the same. Y'all let me know what you think about Alien Earth. Are you excited to see xenomorphs or anything like that around Earth at all? Or do you think it would be better to just stay away from all that stuff? Or do you not care about this at all and would rather see a sequel to Alien Romulus? Or have you not liked all this stuff and would prefer a follow-up to Prometheus? You let me know where you stand on the Alien franchise below. Also, let me know what you guys think about the Masters of the Universe casting between Allison Brie being Evil Lynn, and if Camila Mendes made the right move and not doing I Know What You Did last summer to do Masters of the Universe. You know what I'm saying? Does that script, does that movie have the power? We'll find out. But now it's time for us to get into our next topic here, and that is going to be the world of Nova. That's right. The MCU is circling around this project once again. There's been some conflicting rumors and reports that it's going to be a TV series on Disney Plus. It might be a Marvel TV special that it kind of seems like now, which is more of a short film. And there was rumors of it being a full-length feature film as well back in the Phase 3, Phase 4 days. But yeah, so we are getting back into the world of Nova, and I think it was either Kevin Feige or one of the creators behind the scenes right now working on it. I think it might be one of the filmmakers or something like that. He was actually saying that they're going for a very Star Trek and Battlestar Galactica type of vibe for the show, or for the project, I should say. And there was also some like teases at it being a Marvel TV special, which I think is a phenomenal idea. And also there have been there's been some conflicting reports, but it seems like they're looking for an older actor and a younger actor to play the leads. So that would lead me to assume that they're going to be getting into the Richard Rider version of the character and the younger version that's more a part of the younger version of the Defenders with Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and all that other stuff from a certain segment of the comics. But I think that's a cool idea, getting into both versions of the character, unlike what they did with Blue Beetle, which wasn't necessarily bad. I really enjoyed that with Jolo Mataduena, but at the same time, I think it could have been cool to explore Ted Korg and explore Jaime Reyes, which they could still do in the DCU, which I think might be the future plan for what James Gunn's doing, having this lineage, a history of heroes in his version of the DC universe, which I think is also a great idea. So with Nova over here in the MCU, I think it being a Marvel TV special would be a phenomenal idea and would be brilliant because it gives you just enough time to get interested in the character. And if the word of mouth carries from people that already have the service, they're not going out of their way. They're not paying an extra fee to see something. So if they hate it or don't like it, they can move on and make a hate post about it and just move on with their life, or not be a hater and just not like it and then just move on, or they could like it, enjoy it, and let their friends know, or love it and just scream it from the rooftops and get it out there in the right way and introduce the two versions of the character of Nova, or whatever they want to do, but introduce Nova to the world of the MCU, have him jump into Secret Wars or Doomsday. There you go. If they want to get it in before the end of phase 6, or if you want to implement him in something cosmic while they're doing the mutant saga, you can do that as well. And I think this is an interesting and brilliant way of introducing a character like they did with Werewolf by Night, where you can get into a different corner of the universe, something a little more unique, something a little bit more character and plot driven, to where it can tie into the universe very easily, but won't conflict from anything and doesn't create a lot of homework for somebody that isn't a diehard MCU fan, and it won't hurt your enjoyment of the overall storyline going on in the multiverse saga or the mutant saga that's coming up soon. So either way they want to go with it, I think that's a really great way of getting Nova into the universe. And I think doing TV specials is going to be the way to go. I'm definitely intrigued by Agatha all along, but I think that should have been a TV special. Give her an hour to let Catherine Hahn and Aubrey Plaza cook without overstaying their welcome, and I think we could have moved on from it. But at the same time, with the 30 to 40 minutes, it's 9 episodes, so it might be only like a 3 hour or so thing. Maybe it's going to be a bit bloated. Maybe it's going to be really nice and fleshed out and very fun. I'm hoping that's going to be a pleasant surprise, but I can't wait to see what's going to happen with this Nova project. Would you guys prefer it to be a Marvel TV special or short? Would you prefer it to be a TV series, or do you want them to throw it into the movies? You guys let me know what you think about it. I know the MCU is kind of a little bit on a high right now and kind of seems like they're riding the ship. So I would love to hear what y'all's opinions are on that and where you think this can tie in, or do you think this is completely unnecessary? Let me know what you think about all that stuff down below, guys. But now we're going to get into some other fairly big news as well. We got a lot of casting rumors jumping around for the DCU's Lanterns TV series, which is said to have a True Detective type of vibe that they're going for. And we know they have confirmed also that Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart are going to be our main Lanterns, patrolling the Earth area and whatnot, doing their space cop thing. And we got some big casting rumors for Hal Jordan, 3 to be exact, and 1 that's sort of rumored as well. I didn't include him on the thumbnail image here, but right there you got these 3 big actors in the kind of short list. But Josh Brolin is the one that they offered the role to first and foremost, and they're waiting and doing negotiations to see what's going to happen with that, or if he's going to go into talks. We haven't had any confirmation or word as of yet, as of the recording of this video, during Beetlejuice weekend. So things could progress and get updated by the time we do the 4th episode of this show. So stay tuned for that. But Josh Brolin seems to be the head runner or front runner for the role of Hal Jordan right now. And then they also got Matthew McConaughey and Ewan McGregor, young Obi-Wan himself, in the mix. And there was also a rumor as well that I saw floating out there a little bit online that Chris Pine over there from Star Trek and Wonder Woman could be popping up into the mix as Hal Jordan as well. So that's one side of things. So I personally, if I had to pick out of those 4 actors, I would go Chris Pine first, Ewan McGregor second, Josh Brolin third, and Matthew McConaughey fourth. Because Matthew McConaughey was already in True Detective, so them kind of going for that vibe, I think it's kind of reversing the formula, because making him kind of Woody Harrelson's role in this scenario. But at the same time, I think him being synonymous with True Detective would make it a bit more distracting. And I think Matthew McConaughey, in a sense, is a little too distracting to be Hal Jordan, I think, for this. I think it'd be better to get someone a little less high profile and a little bit less kind of A-list star power. Josh Brolin, to me, is a very household name due to the fact that he played Thanos, due to the fact that his family does have lineage and history in Hollywood, with his father being in like the Amityville Horror and things of that nature, and having his own legacy and career. But at the same time, I think Josh Brolin is a really good actor. I think he really does get into the roles that he's doing, and he especially did a great job with Thanos. He also played Jonah Hex too. Don't forget, back in like 2010. That movie fucking stinks. It stinks. But at the same time, Josh Brolin wasn't bad in it. And that was the first time I ever seen him on screen, by the way. So seeing how far he's come in these 14 years since then, 14 to 15 years, whatever, since then, and getting his chance to step into a DC role once again would be cool. But like I said, he is synonymous with Thanos, and he is pretty synonymous with Cable at this point as well, over there in the Deadpool, Fox, Marvel era of the Marvel universe. So he does have a lot of other things that we know him for. So I think that also kind of makes it a slight bit distracting. But I think playing the old grizzled vet would definitely fit into what they're trying to do for Hal Jordan. And I think he could play that really well, because who plays Grumpy better than Josh Brolin? You know what I mean? So I think that's another one. And Ewan McGregor, to me, I think could really slip into this role, and getting to see him get a little bit of redemption in the world of DC, I think would be pretty cool. But we'll see where that goes. But I think that'd be pretty awesome. And yeah, so those are my kind of thoughts on that. But we also got casting choices for Jon Stewart, but not as many, unfortunately. There's only two names coming up right now, and that is the names of Damson Idris right there over to your right now that you're seeing on the screen, who's from the FX show Snowfall. I haven't seen the full episodes of the show, but I've seen some clips and scenes of it. He's pretty good in there. And you got Aaron Pierre, who just recently who recently starred in Jeremy Saulnier's Netflix action thriller. I can't remember the name of it, but he also did some pretty cool movies in the past. The director, that is Jeremy Saulnier, he did the movie Green Room, which for all my punk rock fans, you're going to love that for sure if you haven't seen it already. I would love to do a video on that pretty soon here leading into spooky season, so keep your eyes peeled for that. One of my favorite modern horror films for sure. And what else did he do? Oh yeah, Blue Ruin, which I didn't like nearly as much, but is a pretty good thriller in its own right. But Aaron Pierre, from what I've seen in trailers and clips of that movie that's coming out on Netflix, that just came out, I think, today, as of the recording of this video, it looks awesome, and he looks awesome in it. So I think he seems like a good casting choice. They're both about the right age, around 30 or so. So getting to see him play the younger, the kind of cadet partner in this situation to the more grizzled vet and Hal Jordan, I think could be really cool. And I'm so happy they're going with Jon Stewart in this. He's one of my favorite, if not, well, actually, I would say he's my favorite Green Lantern and one of my favorite DC characters when you're talking about Jon Stewart's Green Lantern. I was definitely influenced on that from Justice League Unlimited. If you know, you know, for all my millennials out there. But that was one of the dopest like characterizations of any comic book character, in my personal opinion. So getting to see Jon Stewart finally get his live action due, to me, is hella exciting. But please, guys, let me know what you think about these castings down below. Who do you prefer as Hal Jordan? Who do you have as ideas for Hal Jordan that they haven't even said yet? One I saw floated out there by the Christian Harloff show, Capes and Cowls, was Joel Edgerton. So that's another interesting one that's in there that I wouldn't mind whatsoever. All he's got to his name is Uncle Owen, so I think he can slip into there pretty easy. Who else do we got here? I mean, there's a lot of cool actors you could pick for it. And also let me know who you got for Jon Stewart. I also got John Boyega for that in this as well, because he's definitely in his early 30s, late 20s. So I think he would be a perfect fit for the role as well. But yeah, man, let me know who you guys would like to see in either of those roles in the world of the Green Lanterns in the DCU. But now it is time to get into the main topic, y'all. And it's fucking huge news for all my rock fans out there, for all my new metal fans out there, for all my music fans and music nerds out there. This is huge fucking news, guys. It's been 7 years since the death of one of the greatest vocalists of all time. And I'm talking about Chester Bennington, because Linkin Park is back. And I can't even believe I'm fucking saying that out loud. This is the music news, and this is where, after we get into this Linkin Park stuff, I'll give you guys a little bit of an announcement for the channel and whatnot and for the podcast network. But yo, guys, Linkin Park is fucking officially back. They got a freaking arena tour, 5 dates on sale, I think, right now, going on this year. Their album called From Zero, which is a reference to the original name of Linkin Park way back in the 90s, before we knew who they were in Hybrid Theory and they changed their name. They were called Zero at one point. So the album is going to be called From Zero. They have a new singer, as you can see her in the middle right there, the vocalist Emily Armstrong. I have never heard her voice until this morning when I listened to the new Linkin Park song, The Emptiness Machine. Dude, she's trending everywhere, which makes so much sense. I literally typed in EMI and her name came up. Let me see here. What's the band that she's known for? Dead Sarah. And she co-founded that band back in 2005. So around the time Meteora was running through the charts and we were leading into Minutes to Midnight within the next year or so, Emily Armstrong, the vocalist you see in the middle of the screen right there, she got her start in the thing right there. So I kind of like that synergy of her coming up around the same era as Linkin Park as well. And we still got a lot of the original members. Obviously, Mike Shinoda, it ain't Linkin Park without him. duh. And then you got John there, the DJ. You got the original guitarist. I think both guitarists and maybe bassist, or I could be mistaken there, but I think the original guitarist and bassist are still in the band as well. But they do have a new drummer. He's a producer in the world of rock music, not someone I'm familiar with, but his name is Colin Brittain. And yeah, man. So we got a new lineup, a somewhat new lineup, and a brand new album titled From Zero, and a fucking tour from Linkin Park, y'all, in 2024. Like, I can't fucking believe it. It's insane. And I listened to the new song, the new single, The Emptiness Machine, off the album that's coming out November 15th, which is my grandpa's birthday. Rest in paradise to him. But yeah, dude, Linkin Park's back. I will give my honest thoughts here and give you a little bit of background on me. I love Linkin Park. I discovered them through Meteora because my buddy had Hybrid Theory when it came out, and Meteora was about to come out, and they were putting out singles and stuff. Right. We were about in the midst of that when I met my boy Willie. Shout outs to him. He's out there in Washington State right now, somewhere doing his thing. Because I met Willie back in 2005. So 2004, 2005. So no, I met him in 2004. My bad. And we were leading it. Hybrid Theory was out, and he introduced me to the band of Linkin Park. I had no clue who they were. I thought he was talking about the damn place when he said it. And then he gave me Hybrid Theory. I took it home, changed my life forever, changed my musical taste forever. And I discovered one of my favorite bands and one of the greatest bands to grace the stage in the 21st century. And I'm so happy I got to see them go on the run that they had and get to see them build their careers and be the success and be the fucking legends that they are. You know what I'm saying? And I got to see them live in 2007 and 2008 at Project Revolution. Freaking the man himself from Soundgarden, Chris Cornell in Audioslave. He was there doing his own solo set when he was going solo, doing his thing after Audioslave, and getting to see him and Chester share the fucking stage and kill it and bring the fucking house down as best friends and as fucking powerhouse vocalists of their own right. Obviously, Chris Cornell starting back in the 80s with the grunge era in Seattle, and then Chester obviously starting out in the late 90s and everything like that. So awesome to see that. So I've always been a fan of Linkin Park. I did not like some of their more recent releases nearly as much as their first 3 to 4 albums, but don't get me wrong, I always got love and respect for Linkin Park. Never of the opinion that they fell off, but I did think that maybe their heights were behind them. And then the crushing death of Chester Bennington 7 years ago was so damn shocking, so damn depressing, and it makes me sad every time I discuss or think about it, man. And Linkin Park will never be the same. You know, this new era could be awesome and fun and be its own thing, but it will never be what it was with Chester. And just the power he had on that mic is just in the songwriting talent and in the presence he had on stage will never be emulated or recreated. So no offense to Emily Armstrong, but she'll never be able to reach that. But my thoughts on the Emptiness Machine are this. It's a good track, man. I actually like it. I wouldn't say I love it. I wouldn't say it blew me away. It does have some shades of vintage Linkin Park, but it sounds like something current and something different. And I think that's important for the band to continue to evolve and not try to recapture that magic, especially when they have a different vocalist. You're not going to get that. So I think trying to use the stuff that works for Linkin Park and keep the essence, but find new things to do would be awesome. And I think her as a vocalist, I dig it. I like the way she sounds on this Linkin Park production. I like the way that she sounds in contrast with Mike Shinoda's vocals, who actually wasn't really rapping on this. He was actually more so just singing and harmonizing, which was actually a little bit of a different change of pace. Maybe he's been doing that on the last couple albums a little bit more, but I haven't really dived back into those in a while, which I do plan on doing here soon now that we're kind of getting into Linkin Park season leading up to this release within the next 2 months. I'm very much interested in it. I don't know if I'm gonna have the money to go see them live here soon, but if I got the opportunity, I might take it just to see what the hell it is. You know what I'm saying? Just to be a part of musical history in a sense. One of the biggest bands in rock music history of the last 25 years coming back. Getting to be there for that return would be just cool to say. You know what I mean? So I'm very much intrigued by this album. I like the song. I don't love it, but I like it. I want to give Emily Armstrong the full album, give it its just due, listen to it through and through, and really see what she's going to bring to the mix and really see what she has on stage. I haven't watched too many live videos or anything yet, so I'm going to do that so I can kind of get a sense more for what she's doing. And I'm excited about it, man. Like, I'm definitely like cautiously optimistic. You know what I mean? I don't want to get too overly excited. Like when Blink announced their return, I felt the same way. You know what I mean? I want to temper my expectations, but also give them enough grace and give them the respect and the time that they deserve, and give them a fair shot before I judge it too much as a fan. You know what I'm saying? And give it its just due. You don't have to love it, don't have to hate it, but I just want to give it its fair shake because I love Linkin Park and I respect the hell out of those guys and what they've accomplished and what they've created. So I'm hoping for it. I'm pulling for it. I never want anything to be bad in the world of art. You know, I want people to succeed and be able to execute their vision because I feel the same way as an artist. I want to do that. And I hope the people that support me want to see that too. So that's just my thoughts and opinions on it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. If you're a Linkin Park fan, please get in the comments. This is the number one topic. This is the main topic. Please let me know what you thought about this Emptiness Machine single. What do you think about Linkin Park coming back without Chester? Is it sacrilege? Do you think it's time? Are you excited? Are you a little bit nervous? Do you not care? And are you completely against it? Let me know. No matter where you fall, we can always have a conversation here on Phantom Frequency, y'all. Oh, damn, that rhymed. I'm fucking over here spitting bars. Speaking of spitting bars, Phantom FM, that was our audio music focused podcast that I did and launched back in 2022. And I went on a bit of a hiatus with the show because I wanted to really develop the YouTube channel, which has been growing and flourishing and doing its thing. And I really appreciate each and all of you for doing so. But I want to get back into that. And we're going to be launching season 2 this month, leading into spooky season and all that. Not going to be horror themed, obviously, but before we get into the spooky season thing where it's almost all horror all the time on the channel for the month of October, not literally, but you know what I mean, figuratively. It's always a lot of fun doing that Halloween horror month, if you will. We're going to be diving into the world of music, man. And we got a really fun show planned for this first episode. I'll give you guys a little bit of a teaser. I got some new segments as well that I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to be reaching out to some friends of mine to okay it to get them reference in there. But I really want to shine a light on underground and local music and local musicians that I know or support. So that's going to be a big focus of the Phantom FM podcast as well. We're going to be getting into some audio things and me kind of shouting out some gear that I want to get or something that I have that I think could be really helpful for you guys. And as I discover other production techniques and other things, you know, I would like to share that with you. So that's going to be another segment of the show, getting into the world of audio, if you will. And then we're going to be doing a little What's the Word segment on that, where I just get into different news or announce tours, albums, singles, different things like that. ASAP Rocky's about to release an album, Don't Be Dumb. We're going to be talking about some of the singles and things going on with that. Kendrick Lamar, Drake, rap beef. Hip hop is a motherfucking sport. It's going on. Hip hop is in the best place it's been in a long time. We're going to get into that discussion. And then obviously, I'm going to be taking a deep dive into this new Linkin Park material. I'm going to be checking out whatever live videos and interviews that they have so I can break down what they're talking about. I'm going to break down the song in even more detail and get into more of my Linkin Park love, get into some of my favorite tracks. And I'm going to listen to some of the newer material so I have that to kind of inform the conversation. But those are going to be some of the topics on the very first episode. And we're going to be doing a lot of different genres and different things and announcements. We might even be talking about Taylor Swift and Beyonce, shit like that. I don't listen to them as much, you know what I'm saying? But we're going to be getting into the world of music in the mainstream. But I also want to give that beacon and that spotlight for the underground artists and local artists. So we're going to be incorporating all of that into the Phantom FM podcast, which is going to be audio only over on the podcast feed. I should have a link to the podcast feed in the description of every single video on the channel. So if you're curious about that and want to see more of my candid thoughts on Linkin Park, the whole Drake Kendrick rap beef in the state of hip hop, and all the other big topics that come out right now, make sure you jump over there. I'm going to be dropping the first episode of Phantom FM within a week from now. So make sure you keep your eyes peeled for that and go over there and listen to that. And we're going to be doing music things on the channel as well. I got one of the most legendary hip hop artists of all time, their debut album. I'm going to be discussing this coming week. I'm really excited about that. I also have some fun tier rankings I want to get into and some other fun retrospective albums that we're going to be getting into on the channel. One of my favorite bands is celebrating the 20th anniversary and 30th of two of their most important albums of all time. We're going to be getting into that. Linkin Park, when they drop their new album From Zero in November, we're going to be definitely getting into that in video format on the channel. And I'll probably have some spotlight for that on the Phantom FM podcast. So we're going to be doing a lot more music stuff on the channel. I would say you should be seeing, most of the time we're doing movies. So you're going to be seeing I would say 40% movies, 30% TV, 20% music, and then 10% anime, wrestling, and what have you. So we're going to be seeing a lot more music focused content on the channel. And I've actually been working on a lot of music of my own and also in a band project of mine with some brothers. So we are going to be, I'm going to be doing a lot of music myself and highlighting that over on the Phantom FM podcast. So if you're interested in what I do as a creative, if you're interested in local artists, and if you're interested in talking about some of the coolest and funnest discussions in the world of music, and if you want to nerd out about some audio and music production, the Phantom FM podcast is where you're going to be able to get that. and you're going to be seeing a lot more music stuff here on the channel as well. So make sure you keep your eyes peeled for that. I have my Instagram and all that stuff tagged below, so you can see a lot more of my musical side of my stuff and get a little bit more of me as a person and what I'm personally into. So thank you for checking out this latest episode, man, of What's the Word. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys. And we're going to be doing this weekly news show every single week, every single weekend. By the time the weekend comes, you're going to be able to kick back, relax, and watch one of these What's the Word episodes. So thank you so much for checking this out. Make sure you click all the buttons below the video and leave your thoughts down below. And you guys have a safe weekend out there, and I appreciate each and every one of you. That's it, y'all. We're going to be peacing out, y'all. So until next time, make sure you stay up, stay tuned, and don't sleep. Peace.